Hello, this is Melissa Dormois from Shambhala Kids and melissadormois.com, and today I want to teach you about the garbage truck theory so you can help your kids avoid people who act like that. So the garbage truck theory and why we need to be aware of it. This is a great way to explain to your child or your teen why it's so important to have boundaries and understand that certain people, which they may be people in your child's life or friends even potentially, especially as our children get older and they move into the teen years, they need to be aware that some people just tend to have a negative mindset and they love to complain. Now, they could use your child or your teen basically as someone just to dump everything on. So this is really bad, but think about it when you're explaining it to your child or teen, to think about that other person as having a whole bunch of garbage in their garbage truck and they're just driving around trying to find someone to dump it on. So when we allow people like this into our lives, they just tend to dump all of their gross garbage, negativity, complaining, constant complaining onto you. And then what happens? Well, what happens is you feel like crap and they feel better. You don't want to be that person. Your child doesn't want to be that person. Your teenager doesn't want to be that person. So it's really easy to, I love the visualization, right? The visual of the garbage truck. So when we teach our children to have healthy boundaries, let's not hang around people like that, babe. Let's not be friends with people like that. Or if your friends try to do that, don't allow them to do that. There's one thing in sharing our problems, and that sharing with someone and having a good friendship with someone, we should share what's going on. But to be constantly just on the outlook for someone to just dump everything on and be a constant complainer, what that does is that just gives all of the negative energy over to your child or your teen or yourself. Maybe this is happening to you and it just doesn't feel good, right? So we don't want to take on all of that heaviness all the time. Like I said, it's one thing to just be a good listener, but it's another thing to be that wasteland for that garbage truck person who just wants to throw all of their negativity on you. So be very mindful of that and make sure that your children are aware of that so that they don't become a victim of someone who just wants to dump on them constantly and then they feel bad. And you can also be very aware of this when you're out and about. It may not be a friend, it might be a stranger, but if certain people, if they have a lot of accumulation during that day, like they've had a bad day, right, and then they just for some reason come across you, let's say you're in traffic or something, and someone, you could tell they've just had a bad day and traffic is frustrating to them, and they have all this pent up anger and they're just waiting to unleash it on someone. So just be mindful that people out there, when that happens out in public, you can remind your child, hey, listen, that guy probably was having a really bad day. I feel kind of pity for him, I feel pity on him. So just allow your children to help your children become aware that this exists so that they can avoid that and they can avoid those types of people who tend to do that on a consistent basis, because that's unhealthy behavior and you don't want that in your child's life. You don't want your child to have to constantly deal with that. And even you as a parent, knowing those healthy boundaries and setting those healthy boundaries, reinforcing that so that your friendships are good, they're nurturing friendships, you're in relationships with people who actually care about your well-being, who aren't going to constantly dump on you just because you're the closest person to them, right? So like and comment below. Let me know if your child or your teen has ever experienced this, or maybe you have. Let me know below. Thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.